At the moment, Canvas offers two different types of quizzes, classic quizzes and new quizzes. Canvas has been saying for many years now that they're planning to discontinue classic quizzes, although there is no timeline for this. Additionally, if you're using test banks provided by a textbook publisher, some test banks only work with classic quizzes, while others only work with new quizzes. As such, it's probably a good idea for instructors to know how to create and edit both classic and new quizzes. This video will focus on creating and editing new quizzes. First, click on Quizzes in your course navigation menu. Then click on the Plus Quiz button at the upper right. When the Choose a Quiz Engine window appears, you can decide if you want to create a new quiz or a classic quiz. Since this video focuses on new quizzes, click the button next to New Quizzes and press Submit. In the assignment name box, give your quiz a name. Select the correct items from the quiz type, assignment group, and display grade as drop-downs, and add the number of points your quiz will be worth. Scroll to the bottom of the screen and enter the date and time when the quiz is due, the date and time when the quiz will become available to students, and the date and time when students will no longer have access to the quiz. Then, click the Build button at the lower right. After the new screen loads, click where it says Add Instructions and enter the instructions that you have for your students regarding what the quiz covers, how long students will have to take the quiz, if they'll be able to take the quiz multiple times, and so on. Then click on Settings at the top of the screen. Here you can set a variety of useful settings for your quiz, such as shuffle questions, shuffle answers, show one question at a time limit, allowing multiple attempts, and more. Just click on the button next to the setting you wish to activate. If the button is green with a check mark, that setting is turned on. You can also use this Settings tab to decide when and how to show students the correct answers to their quizzes. If the Hide Results from Students switch is toggled off, answers will be visible to students after they submit their quiz, including the correct answers to questions they got incorrect. However, this is where you can hide answers from students until after the quiz has closed for all test takers if you prefer this option. First, toggle this button on. Then, toggle on Show Questions. Next, toggle on Show Student Responses. Here, you can choose after which attempt to show students their responses. This is also where you would select the date and time to both show and later hide responses from students. Lastly, in order for students to see if they got a response correct or incorrect, toggle on the Indicate Response as Correct or Incorrect button. Decide if you wish them to see the correct answer and the date and time you wish this information to be hidden. Canvas New Quizzes saves all of your settings automatically as you make changes, so there is no final save button to press here. Once your settings are to your liking, return to Build by clicking the link at the top of the screen. If you are using a test bank, you will likely need to reach out to the CTL at this point for assistance loading the test bank into Canvas. Once it has been added, you can add questions from the test bank by clicking on Item Banks at the upper right of the Build screen. Locate the item bank you wish to use and click on its title. Click on the Plus All Random button and the questions will be added to the quiz. As a note, if the CTL has confirmed that your test bank has been added, but you don't see any available item banks, you may need to use the Classic Quizzes tool to build your quiz. You are not required to use item banks to create your quizzes. In fact, many instructors prefer to create their own quiz questions. While this process does take longer, creating quizzes from scratch ensures that students are being quizzed specifically on content covered in the course, and that the items you as the instructor feel are most important are indeed being covered. To add questions yourself, click on any of the blue circles with the plus sign in the center of the build screen. A window will appear with the types of questions you can add, including multiple choice, true-false, matching, multiple answer, ordering, categorization, file upload, fill in the blank, and more. If you simply want to provide text with no questions attached at some point inside your quiz, such as a reading passage that subsequent questions will refer to, or additional instructions for your student, select Text Block. Some of these items will automatically be graded by Canvas, while others must be manually graded in the SpeedGrader. Fill in the blank questions will be graded by Canvas, but should be double-checked in the SpeedGrader, as items that are spelled incorrectly or capitalized differently from the answer you provided will likely be marked incorrect. Let's do a quick run-through of how to set up some of the most commonly used question types, starting with multiple choice. Click on the box labeled plus multiple choice. Confusingly, you do not need to enter anything in the question title box. You will enter the actual question in the question stem box. Enter your possible answers in the answer boxes and click on the radio button next to the correct answer. Remember, if you chose Shuffle Answers as a settings in the Settings tab, you can just enter the correct answer in the top box and the answers will appear in a random order for your students. If you wish to include more possible answers, click the plus answer link. If you wish to delete an answer box, simply click on the trash can to the right side of the box. Enter the number of points you would like the question to be worth, and click on the Done button. True-false questions work exactly the same way. As before, you don't need to enter anything in the question title box. Enter the actual question in the question stem box. Mark whether the answer is true or false, enter the point value, and click Done. For matching questions, again, you would begin the process the same way. Don't enter anything in the question title box and include instructions in the question stem box. However, you would then enter pairs of items to be matched in each set of boxes on the left and the right. For example, if students were matching capital cities with their corresponding states, you might add all the cities on the left and their matching states on the right. Under grading, you have the option of giving students partial credit or requiring an exact match for all. Enter the desired point value and click Done. Use the multiple answer function if you want students to be able to choose more than one correct answer. Again, you would set everything up the same way. However, in this case, you would be able to mark multiple answers as correct. Under grading, you have the option of giving students partial credit or requiring an exact match for all. Enter the desired point value and click Done. The essay question option is kind of a misnomer. While you absolutely can use this question type to ask students to type an essay directly into Canvas, you would also use this question type for any free written answer of a sentence or more. Enter the question or instructions in the question stem box. You can decide if you want your students to have a plain text box to write in, or if you'd like them to be able to use the Rich Content Editor, which is the Canvas text box with the functional toolbar. You can also decide if spell check should be turned on or off, if the word count should be visible, and if you want to add a word limit. As always, set the point value for the question and select Done. You can use the new quiz fill in the blank functions for a question with one blank or multiple blanks. Type a statement and surround a word with backticks in the question stem to indicate where a student would fill in the answer. For example, roses are backtick red backtick, violets are backtick blue backtick. The backtick button is typically located to the left of the number 1 on most English keyboards. After you have entered your text in the question stem, a pair of answer box drop-downs will load for each word or phrase surrounded by backticks. Under Answer Type, use the drop-down to choose Open Entry if you want students to type their answer. Choose Drop-down if you want students to choose their answer from a drop-down menu, and select Word Bank if you want students to drag and drop words from a word bank. For each of the options you select under the Answer Type drop-down, you will be given different choices to finish creating the question. If you choose Open Entry, you can select from a variety of options to determine how accurate students' answers must be. For example, if you are grading on spelling and capitalization, choose Exact Match. Otherwise, choose one of the other options that best matches what you're looking for from your students. If you choose Drop-down, enter the possible answers you'd like your students to choose from in the answer boxes. Click Plus Answer if you wish to add more possible answers, and click the trash can next to the answer box to remove any answer box you do not need. Lastly, if you choose Word Bank, you will need to create the word bank that students will be choosing from by entering distractors. Enter one distractor per distractor box. To enter another distractor box, click on Plus Distractor. To remove a distractor box, click on the trash can to its right. When you're finished, enter the point value for the question and click on Done. New quizzes save as you go, so when you're finished adding all of your questions, simply click on the Return button at the upper right of your screen. This will return you to your Canvas Quizzes page, and your new quiz will have been saved, but remember to publish it. I know I covered a lot in this video, and I didn't even get into the less commonly used question types. If you have questions about anything I covered or anything I didn't, please reach out to us at the CTL at ctlsupport@claremontcc.edu, by phone at 541-880-2374, or just swing by Building 3, Room 350. We look forward to helping you.